In this video, we're going to talk about the journey of discovering your design niche. This was such a great question. Somebody commented on one of our videos where they explain they're just getting into graphic design and they don't exactly know how to find their style or what they want to go after. Well, I'm going to give you 7 steps in this video to help you with that, and within each step, I'm going to give you some practical questions to ask yourself so that you're able to tweak it to your own process and to your own goals. Because this process is going to look different for everyone. For some, it might be pretty easy to figure out exactly what you like, and for others, it might take some testing and some trying out of different styles, and that's totally okay. And depending on where you are in your design journey, you might not need to take these first few steps, so feel free to start at step 4, which you can find down in the timestamp. And after we go through these steps, I'm going to do my best to talk about the difference between finding your design style and the design entity, like, the product if you're going into print on demand, or a niche service like stationery or banner design, because the term niche gets thrown around a lot and we need to nail down exactly what that means. So we'll talk about that at the end. So buckle up, because this is a pretty packed video. Now, what's great about this process is that it works if you are a complete beginner or if you've been in the design game for a while and you're just looking to redefine your focus, your goals. So let's get started. Step 1 is to think back. I think a good first step in finding your design niche is self-reflection. As therapeutic as that sounds, seriously, just take some time to think about your interests, your passions, and your own personal style, even in terms of the clothes that you wear and the products you like to use. So ask yourself questions like, what kind of styles do I naturally like already? As in, what do I see and think, that looks pretty awesome? Then you can ask, what type of designs do I naturally gravitate towards? And what aspects of those designs do I find most exciting or intriguing to me? This is an important question because you're going to start to formulate thoughts like, I want to learn how to do that, or I want to take this design and tweak it to be different. Then you can ask more practical questions like, what are my favorite colors? What layouts do I like? Or what design elements do I like? Write all of these questions down and answer them so that you can make a catalog or a list of what you like. This list is going to be super helpful later when you start to collect some references, because you'll know what you're looking for based on your own likes. Step 2 is to pick a lane. Where step 1 was about reflecting on what you already know, step 2 is about discovering something you don't already know. And that is the practice or the discipline of design you want to do. What's really neat is how many different avenues there are for graphic design work. We've got logo and branding design, website and app design, merchandise and apparel design, which factors into print on demand, and there's seriously so much you can create, from stickers to hats to pretty much everything. Stationery design, which is everything from book covers to the actual inside layout of a book or a magazine. And there's digital product design, which is creating templates for items like planners or calendars and everything like that. And this is not to say that you can't do multiple things, but I think to do multiple things well, you do need to buckle down and learn and get good at one thing first. So the questions that you want to ask yourself are, which design discipline interests me the most? Which one would be the easiest for me to learn? Which one seems like it would be the hardest to learn? And which one seems like it would be the funnest to learn? All right, step 3 is to try it out. With your answers from step 1 and step 2, it's time to meld them together and dig in to try out 1 or 2 of these methods. So after you decide the method, what I want you to do is follow a prompted step-by-step course, no, not a paid course, or a written guide to see exactly how a graphic comes together. Ideally, this would be someone who can be teaching you not only how to produce a visual, but also how to use the tool or tools necessary to create that visual. So a very step-by-step guide. Now, you might have already heard course and assumed, oh, I need to spend money, but that's not true. We're not to the point of spending money yet, unless you just have some spare money hanging around. There are plenty of free courses in the form of YouTube videos, and we even have some here on our channel, and there are plenty of design tools that are free to start learning. Whether that's graphic design programs, like Kittl, which you can sign up for free to start using, or whether you're interested in something like website design, you can either go the drag and drop route like something like Squarespace or Wix, or you can start using something like Figma to get started. Both have free options options, and both are perfect for learning. Just keep in mind that with any free version of a tool, there are limitations to them, but you should have everything you need to get started in terms of learning. For example, if you want to learn any kind of graphic design that has to do with logos or branding or merch design, Kittl is really the best and greatest free option for you, because all of the tools that we have are perfect for what you need. All of the elements and the assets are all in one place, so you don't have to go and try to hunt them down, and this is going to save you a ton of time just to work and practice on a graphic. In the web design niche, when I first started out, I would actually borrow my roommate's laptop and watch videos while using his Adobe subscription to access Illustrator and Adobe XD to create fake website mockups, because that's what I was most interested in. So to this point about testing different disciplines, you can also leverage your friends or your family to see what resources that they have, because at this point, you're just trying to learn different things. So after you've tried these out, ask yourself these questions. How much time can I dedicate to learning further? This might actually help you choose the discipline. Which of these methods came easiest to me? Was it website design? Was it merch design? Was it a logo design? What could I easily reproduce again? And what would take me the longest time to produce again? Make sure that you're adding to that list I told you to make back in step 1, because all of this is really good data for you. All right, step 4 is reference time. At this point, you've got a little bit of experience under your belt in the design world. Even if all you've done is make a couple of fake test projects reproducing someone else's work, that is a major win, so don't sell yourself short. And you might not even be sold on one particular method of design and still be thinking that you want to try and do everything. It's all good. Keep taking it one step at a time and definitely keep practicing. What you'll begin to figure out is what your strengths and your weaknesses are when it comes to designing, like the action of design, the physical action of designing. And after that's defined, you can dive into this super fun portion I like to call reference shopping. That's right, it's time to plunge straight into Pinterest, social media like Instagram, YouTube, blogs, and whatever else you fancy to start creating your own mood boards. Now, if mood board is a new term for you, a mood board is simply a collection of pieces that you like that follow a similar pattern or style or scheme. Now, when you're first starting out in design and trying to figure out what you like, you can actually just start by pretty much saving everything to your mood board. In Pinterest, for example, you can create your own boards of what you like, or of course, you can take screenshots of stuff online. You can save posts to a list in apps like your Instagram. And then you can use a free tool like Milanote, or again, like Kittl, to compile all of your references together. Once you're able to look at everything together, pay attention to any aspects or patterns of design elements that are similar between the graphics that you've saved. Ask yourself some of these questions after you've collected the references and look at them all together. Are there similar colors between the graphics? Is the typography or the text similar between the graphics, or is it very different? And just within this one question alone, you can start creating sub-questions like, is the text bold, or is it thin? Is it a script? Is it super wild? Ask yourself, are these designs really busy, or are they super simple? And then the important question to ask is, what is the design key term attached to this design? And what I mean by that is, can you figure out what the key term is that is used to define that graphic? Maybe it's vintage, maybe it's retro, maybe it's minimal, or boho, or maximal, Y2K, or whatever else. You don't have to be 100% correct at this, but this exercise will help you build a glossary of terms that will help you figure out exactly what you like. Because when you know the right terms to use, then you know what to search and find more of. And keep repeating this process. It works for literally any of the design disciplines I mentioned, whether that's references for website designs, or stationery, logos, t-shirts, or whatever. Find more references, identify similarities in what you save, and create that list of key terms. All right, step 5 is to recreate. So in step 3, you were trying out either one or two of the methods of design, meaning something like t-shirt design or website design. And by this point, you'll have probably figured out, I don't care too much for website design. That's like a lot all at one time, but I really like t-shirt and apparel design because I can focus on one graphic at one time. Excellent. Now it is time to recreate on your own. In step 3, you were being guided by an instructor or a written guide on the exact steps to do something, but now it's time to take the initiative, to take your favorite references and do your best to just recreate it word for word, piece for piece in your graphic design tool. Now, if we're talking about a t-shirt design or a poster design, again, Kittl is probably the best tool for this because you've got all of your illustrations, all of your images, all of your elements, and your fonts are all in one place, easily ready to design. Because again, the point here is practice. You're just trying to see how you can go from nothing to as close to something in the graphic that you've picked out. So using a design tool that is free is perfectly fine for this exercise. I mean, if there's like a skater illustration in the middle of the design of your reference, you don't have to go and hunt and find that one, just use a different one that's similar. What you're learning is muscle memory on layout, and from layout, you're going to start to understand and pick up on different design principles, which, by the way, we have a free course right here. You can check it out on YouTube on the most basic graphic design principles. So hopefully you're starting to see the snowball effect that comes from practicing whatever niche or style you like. I would suggest that you try out 2 or 3 of the styles that interest you when recreating your references. Then you can ask yourself these questions. Which designs were the easiest to recreate? Which designs were the fastest for me to recreate? What is the intended use case of the designs I recreated? Which again is attached to the method you've chosen, whether it's a logo or a poster or a website, but you want to be a little bit more nuanced with this question, like the poster design was for a car event or a car show, the landing page was for a new skincare product, and so on. Now, I shouldn't have to say this, but just to make it very, very clear, with recreating the graphics that you've chosen, this is just practice. This is not intended for you to go and resell or reuse someone else's work as if it's your own. That is plagiarism and will get you into a ton of trouble. So when recreating your references, you are just doing so for practice, for exercise. Now, using a reference and iterating on it in a different and unique way because you're using it as an example is a little bit different, and we can cover that in another video because, of course, having solid references is a pathway to successful designs. All right, step 6 is feedback. Under every successful designer, there is constructive criticism and feedback that has helped them get better along their journey. Now, you might not have access to a personal design coach or an instructor, but there are tons of design forums, there are groups and channels to post your work in and get feedback. For example, we have the Kittl Discord channel where you can share work, get feedback, or just toss ideas back and forth on how to accomplish something, and the link to the Discord is down in the description. Now, you don't have to start in something like a big group if you think that's intimidating. You could just start with your friends or your families or your colleagues, and you can just ask them what they like or dislike about what you made. But make sure to ask them specifically why they liked or disliked something in your design. This feedback might be more helpful than you think, because if you start to hear a similar feedback from multiple people on one of your graphics, that could be an indicator that you put a lot more or a lot less effort into one piece than the others, which then clues you into what style you might want to invest more in. This feedback is going to help you understand how others perceive your designs, which might be your guiding light to finding your niche. So ask yourself, what is the common feedback I received about my graphics? What did people like the most? What did people dislike the most? And finally, how can this feedback help me do better next time? All right, step 7 is evaluate and refine. So at last, you should have a lot of data written down to help you solidify your niche, but that doesn't mean it's set in stone. You can take this time to read through all of your notes and decide how they correlate to your goals, because at the end of the day, if you tried something that ended up looking pretty good but you hated doing it, then that's probably not your niche. Maybe you found that there was a sub-style or a sub-genre of design that started to interest you more, and so you need to go back to step 4 or step 5 and reiterate on that particular subject. And the only thing left to do from here is to start to build out a portfolio and get yourself out there in terms of what you want to do, whether that's for print on demand or offering your own design services as a freelancer, or maybe creating digital products or whatever else. Let's talk about this term niche. I think it gets thrown around to mean a lot of different things to different people. Some people say it when they are talking about design style. so like retro versus modern. Some people say it when they're talking about a group of people, so nurses or video gamers. Some people say niche when they are referring to a physical product or entity, so like mugs or planners or flags. And one of the most common ways I see the term used is when someone is suggesting that you narrow down on a specific thing within a category. So for example, let's take graphic design. Graphic design is a very large topic. So someone will say you need to niche down and tell people you do one specialized thing or you provide one specialized thing. So instead of I'm a graphic designer, it becomes I'm an apparel designer for bachelorette parties. Now this is wildly specific, and I would have to agree that that is a very niche subject. The technical definition on Google of the word niche is 1, a comfortable person in life or employment, or 2, a specialist segment of the market for a particular kind of product or service. So obviously the second one is what applies to us here. In a sense, your niche can be all of those things that I mentioned, but also maybe not the most helpful word depending on what you're trying to figure out. Now stay with me. I think some people say niche when they just mean design style. One kind of follows the other if you think about it. You have to find out what you like or what you want to do or like doing before you throw other technical words in there, especially if you're just starting out. You also just need to get the practice in and learn graphic design and hone your craft before making some super big decisions like I'm a specialist in X, providing or doing Y. Just know that it takes some time to get there, and that's okay. And of course, you're welcome to use niche to define what it is you want to do or the style you're trying to convey, but whatever the case, just make sure it is clear to the user or the viewer or the customer what it is you do. If it's something that nobody wants or will buy or will look at, then saying that it's niche won't really matter. So again, think about how this term niche relates to what you're doing, what you want to be doing, and then go from there. Now, the 3 things I need you to do before signing off are 1, subscribe to the channel because this seriously helps us out so much. Number 2, like this video. And then number 3, comment down below what are your thoughts on the topic of design niche. Maybe you have a different and or better definition of niche that can help people, or maybe you have a great process for how you found your style or your niche that others can benefit from. And of course, if you have other questions or need extra help on a subject in graphic design, please comment down below. We love reading those comments and making more videos, and we will definitely check them out. Thanks so much for watching this video, and we will see you in the next one.